Hello, writer. Or actually, if you're watching this, you might not even consider yourself to be a writer yet, and you want to know what it takes to be a writer. More specifically, I believe that you want to know what it takes to be a successful writer, how to be a successful author, maybe even a best-selling author. So today we're going to tell you how to basically reverse engineer your writing success. I'm going to give you the mindset and the actions that you need to do and that you need to adopt to completely augment your success in ways you never thought possible. So let's get started. Before though, I want to make sure that you subscribe to my channel because I have tons of videos coming out that should be very, very helpful to you, whether you're a brand new writer or a little bit more experienced. My name's Karena. I am the founder of Spalmorum. I'm a PhD writing coach whose mission in life is to take you from aspiring writer to successful author. And I do that in smart little bite-sized chunks like this one. Okay, let's get started. So how do you become a super successful author? How do you reverse engineer that success? So there's some mindset actions that you can take, and then there's some actions that you can take. I'm going to start out with the mindset. First of all, in the writing mindset is know thyself. So who are you? What motivates you? What kind of a writer are you? What does success as a writer mean to you? Are you doing it just for the love of it, or are you doing it because you want to make money from it? These are very different things. If there is any level of money or fame tied to your writing success, then you really need to understand that that is going to be a business. Writing is not just an art, it's a business. And some of the actions and some of the mindsets that we're going to be embracing now do take that into account. So once you figure out why it is that you want to be a writer, you need to make sure that you're committed to that vision. So you really need to visualize what it is that you want, and then you have to realize whether you're completely committed or not. If you're not completely committed, I think that you're better off to just kind of stop right away or to try a smaller project because you're going to get very discouraged. But if you are committed, that is wonderful. We're going to be moving on to the next step. The next step involves getting some role models. Find some mentors for this journey into the writing world that you're going to be taking. I would recommend having two different types of mentors. The first one is that huge aspirational mentor. These are the JK Rowlings and the Stephen Kings of this world, the people who are hugely successful. It might even be pretty hard to even identify with them because they are so successful, but the good part about these super successful writers is that there's so much on them online that you can read about. You can read about how they became successful, the steps that they took, the mindset that they adopted. You can see what their process is in terms of writing or in terms of marketing themselves. You can see kind of how they write and how that works and how audiences feel about their work. So they're a really great piece of research that you can study so that you can see how they became successful and therefore how you can become successful just like them. The second type of mentor that you should have is a writer who is a little bit more down here. A writer that is just starting to be successful, somebody maybe their first book just came out or they self-published and their book sold a nice number of copies, or maybe it's a writer that you've met in a writer event or in a writing group, somebody who's just a few steps ahead of you in this whole writing success game. These people are more accessible. You can talk to them in person. You can maybe even ask them questions. You can observe what they're doing to move themselves ahead in terms of their writing success. Another mindset aspect of writing success is that you really need to find the discipline that you're going to need to be successful. So being a writer is not an easy path, and it really takes resilience, first of all, and it takes discipline. So it takes knowing that you are going to encounter criticism, you're going to encounter failure, and then moving ahead. Nevertheless, it really means looking at how writing is important to you and deciding that that is more important than the bad parts that come with writing, and just forging ahead and deciding that you want to be successful beyond everything. I think that in this self-awareness enters into it. Self-awareness is key. So if you have a little issue that's going to prevent your success, let's say that you are lazy, or let's say that you are ADHD, or let's say that you have a super busy schedule, or let's say that you feel that you lack in education, All of these are things that you need to be self-aware of. You don't need to put them out there and tell everybody about it. But if you are self-aware, you're going to be more able to take the steps that you need to take to overcome these problems or circumvent these problems. You can kind of avoid some of these issues. Okay, now that I've talked about the mindset component of writing success, we now have the action component. Yes, you need to take action. Having the right mindset is not enough. Action is imperative. And the first action that you would take is to read a lot. So you've determined what kind of writing you like, you've determined who your writing heroes are. You should read all of the work that you can by these people. So read, and read with a very critical mind, and be very observant of how these writing heroes of yours are concocting their scenes, how they're developing their characters, what kind of style they're using, and also read reviews of their work by other people so that you can see what works, what doesn't, what people like, what they don't like. You also might want to read more stylistic things. You might want to be reading things about marketing. I said it, writing is a business, so you need to know a lot about marketing and sales, and these things are always changing and always developing. So you definitely need to be reading about it so that you can learn how best to promote yourself as a writer and how best to build your platform that is going to be helping you with promotion. So definitely read, read, read. If you don't like to read, I would question why you want to be a writer. So that's something important in the whole know thyself category. If you rolled your eyes when I said read a lot, I would say really look inside yourself and say, do I really want to be a writer? Because most people want to become writers because they read something that really inspired them, or because books made them feel a certain way. And so yeah, I would question why you want to be a writer if you don't like to read. So read. Here comes another action that you must take if you want to be a successful author. You've probably seen or heard or read that you must write every day. Every single person says, write every day, you have to write every day, you have to have a writing routine, blah, 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 blah. Okay, sometimes that's not 100% realistic, especially if you have a super busy schedule, or if there are several reasons why you might not be able to write each day. However, here's what I would say. I would say that you need to move forward each day. So this is crucial. This kind of keeps you in that writing mindset. So I don't mean that you need to write a certain number of words every day, but you do need to do something to move your writing career forward. Move your identity as a writer and as an author forward. So whether that's working on your social media, or attending writing group, or going to an event with an author, or watching a YouTube video about writing, all of these things are things that will move you forward, and you know what they are. You know when you've done something that actually moved yourself forward, and that's going to give you that feeling of accomplishment, and that's really important in keeping you upbeat and positive in this whole writing journey. Okay, here's one more thing about what to do, which actions to take in your writing success journey. I touched on it a couple times, but you definitely need to be building your platform. So before you even start writing, and if you haven't done it yet, before you even start thinking about finishing your book, you need to be working on your platform. And your platform can be a website, it can be a blog, it can be you answering questions on Quora, it can be you being active on Instagram or on Facebook, or you can have a YouTube channel like this one. I know that it's really hard to have a YouTube channel for a lot of us. It's a very popular form, but I think a lot of writers are kind of introverts and we are shy about putting ourselves out there. But again, if you want to be a successful author, putting yourself out there is not a choice. You have to do it. And I think that YouTube is very searchable. It's kind of a great way for your fans to get to know you as a person. And it's also great practice for speaking. So once you do get those author speaking engagements, you'll have had a lot of practice with how to speak on stage or how to speak in front of an audience. The last step in writing success is seeking out and accepting feedback. There are two different forms of this. So you've got readers. You need to find some readers for your work, and you need to get them to give you a little critique and tell you what they're thinking, what's working, what's not working, what's successful, what's not successful. And you also need to find a really good editor. A really good editor is key, and so many of you are very sensitive about getting any kind of feedback on your writing. I know, it's your baby, it came from inside of you, it is something that you wrote, and it's really personal, and it really hurts when somebody says that that's not awesome. And believe me, I've been there, I know, but it's crucial. No great book was ever produced without a really great editor as well. Editors and critics are key in making your book so much better, in polishing it, in focusing it, and in making it everything that it can be so that it gets as many readers as possible. So that's it, you guys. Those are the main steps. I'm going to leave you with a piece of advice from JK Rowling, who is definitely one of the most successful authors, if not the most successful author out there. So she's a pretty good person to look at in terms of how to be a successful author. JK Rowling tells you to remember where you came from and look how far you've come. So even if you're relatively new to this whole writing thing, or even if you feel that you've not made that much progress, believe me, you have. I mean, if you're even sitting here watching this video about how to be a better writer, I think that you really do care and that you're on that journey to furthering yourself as a writer. And so just appreciate how far you've come in this whole game and see that you are making progress. And even if it feels like it's taking a really long time to become successful, believe me, overnight success is rarely a thing. And you're doing this, you're kicking ass, and chances are that you already are a little bit successful. You know, even if you've written something when you had never written anything before, or maybe you've published an article and you'd never published anything before, or maybe you have come up with a great story idea and that's the first time you've done that. Those are all forms of success as a writer. And so I want you to appreciate those and savor those, because you're gonna need those warm, fuzzy feelings. It's a long road ahead, you guys, but you can do this. Okay, that's it for today. If I forgot to mention anything, or if you have any other great tips or tricks on how to encounter success as an author and as a writer, comment down below. Like this video, send it to a writer friend who maybe needs some encouragement. Subscribe to my channel, and I will see you guys next time. In the meantime, keep on writing.